जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम। joins I hope that आपने joins की वीडियो देख ली है. Here's another demonstration of joins, and what we aim to do in this video is to make a high quadrant join. So I'm going to tell you how to sort of make a combination of two different joins. तो इसके लिए ऐसा करते हैं कि हम जो क्लास में डिस्कस कर चुके हैं, आपको मैं दिखा चुका हूँ डेटा सेट टॉप कंपनीज का, वो आपको दिखाऊंगा. और ये प्लीज डू remind me. I would like to share this data set with you as well. It's a very nice data set. So I just share my Tableau screen with you. Let's just get going. ये लीजिए. I'm going to try to import my data set. Uh, ये डेटा सेट आ गया हमारे पास P11 का. Now remember that since there are a couple of sheets in this P11 1000 startup data, अगर आप गौर करें तो हमारे पास दो शीट्स हैं. One is financial. If I want to look at the data, I can. Of course, I can open up the Excel sheet as well. But why would you do that if you have this option uh, right inside Tableau? It's taking a bit of time, but there you go. It opens eventually. और ये आप देख सकते हैं हमारे पास नेम और कुछ फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन है यहाँ पे इस शीट के अंदर. तो इसका नाम बिल्कुल दुरुस्त है, फाइनेंशियल. ओवरव्यू की शीट देख लेते हैं, इसमें क्या है. राइट, सो इसमें एक ओवरऑल इंफॉर्मेशन है चीजों की. आईडी, आपने देखा आईडी कॉमन फील्ड है दोनों टेबल्स की, दोनों शीट्स की रादर. और नेम भी कॉमन कॉमन हो गया ऑफ कोर्स. बाकी जनरल इंफॉर्मेशन है कंपनीज के बारे में. सो नाउ दिस, in fact, any data that has more than one table or one sheet for that matter require a slightly different treatment. So what I'm going to do is pull this financial inside my canvas. And I'm not going to stop here because my overview information be used करना चाहता हूँ. So I want to get into the logical layer of this because I want to use joins. I'm going to right click and open, and I'm going to push overview right inside here. ये ऑटोमेटिकली से ज्वाइन बना लिए, इनर ज्वाइन लगाया है इसमें. सो इफ यू सी हेयर 1000 रोज है, तो इनर ज्वाइन के साथ भी कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा. दैट इज बिकॉज एग्जैक्टली मैच कर रही है रोज दोनों शीट्स की. इफ आई इवन चेंज this into full outer join, it's not going to change. The number of rows is not going to change. That's because there's no intersection. So doesn't matter आप लेफ्ट ज्वाइन लगा रहे हैं, राइट लगा रहे हैं, इनर लगा रहे हैं, इस पर्टिकुलर शीन के अंदर number of rows do not change, which is very cool. I'm going to exit out. और अब मैं शीट पे जाके चीजों को दूसरी तरफ लेकर जा सकता हूँ. There you go. So yeah, this is the overview wala data, and this is the financial sheet wala data. So and this is the data, of course, that Tableau has generated automatically. So very nice. We can now get started. Now remember कि ये आईडी और ये आईडी सेम थे और नेम भी सेम थे. सो ये थोड़ा सा हमें डेटा जो है ना ओवरलैप हो रहा है. We don't need these two fields because we've already got these two here from this particular table, right? So what we can do is just get rid of them. I'm going to uh, select both of these और मैं राइट क्लिक करके हाइड पे चला जाऊंगा. चलो अब चीजें कुछ बेहतर नजर आ रही. आपने देखा है इसने हायरार्की खुद ही बना दी है. हम क्योंकि इतनी हायरार्कीज में फिर बना चुके होंगे, उसको समझ आ गई है कि ये हायरार्की बनाना पसंद करता है स्टेट ऑफ सिटी की. फाइनेंशियल लुक्स गुड, बट दिस जस्ट नीड्स अ बिट ऑफ क्लीनिंग अप. द फर्स्ट All right, so I was disconnected, need to go back to Tableau. All right, so now I just need to make uh, a few folders ताकि चीजों को organize रखा जा सके. So I'm going to go right here and say that I want to group by folder. अभी data source के table के साथ ये कर रहा है, but I want to group by folder. So now what it has done is that it is listed uh, things in a particular manner. अब मैं यहाँ पे right click करके either I can create a new folder or what I can do is simply pick up things that I want together. जैसे 2013 का data, right click here and I'm going to say create sorry, folder, and I want to create a folder, and this is 2013 finance. Enter this और ये देखिए आप इसी तरीके से 14 है, तो just select all the 14 fields, right click, folder, create folder. I'm going to say this is 2014 finance, and finally 2015. I'm going to select all these, right click, folder, 2015 finance. Looks brilliant. सब कुछ ठीक लग रहा है यहाँ पे. और अगर मैं इसको कोलैप्स करना चाहूँ तो कोलैप्स कर सकता हूँ. चीजें जो है ना वो काफी हद तक नॉर्मलाइज्ड है यहाँ पे. There's one funny thing. The years founded again is green. So if I bring this in, what it's going to do is just aggregate them, and it's also showing it in a very funny manner. So whenever that happens, you know that you need to do a couple of things. कि आप इसको पहले तो years founded को discrete बना दें. तो if I bring this in now, you see अब ये बिल्कुल ठीक दिखा रहा है. And if I bring in the count now, it's going to show you the correct result. There's one other way that you can do the same thing, and that is that what you can do is simply, let me just zoom this in. You can do is कि आप इसको push कर सकते हो ऊपर की तरफ ऐसे. And ओहो, ये आई थिंक ऊपर करके देखते हैं. तो आई थिंक व्हाट हैज हैपेंड इज कि चूंकि हमने फोल्डर्स बना दिए इस वजह से इसको मसला हो रहा है पुश करने में. नेवर माइंड, आई थिंक द बेटर अप्रोच इन दिस पर्टिकुलर केस जहाँ पे हमने फोल्डर्स पहले बना दिए वो यही है कि आप इसको यहाँ पे क्रिएट कन्वर्ट कर लें इनटू डिस्क्रीट. एंड यू कैन आल्सो further convert this into. So actually अगर आप देखें तो it's blue, which means it's discrete and it's usable. We don't need to do anything else. It looks good enough because if I bring this in, तो ये हर साल अलग दिखा रहा है, which is great. That's all I need to do with this data. It looks very good. So let's just see मैं 2015 का जो data है ना इसको analyze करना चाह रहा हूँ. And what I want to do is I want to create scatter plot that gives me companies which are high on revenue but are also low on expenses. So yeah, I want companies that are very high on revenue and I want companies that are also low on expenses. So that's what I want to achieve. अगर मैं revenue को double click करूँ और expenses को double click करूँ, so this is what I get, right? This is my scatter plot. And of course, it's not scattered because I've not really sort of scattered it yet. अगर मैं ID को डिटेल में फेंक दूँ तो it's going to scatter it. तो ये पोजीशन है. तो ये आप देख सकते हैं कि and I want the revenue to be down here. So I'm just going to flip it over like this. ये देखो ये revenue नीचे है और expenses यहाँ पे है. This is the position. So what we really want is to see about companies which are really high on revenue and low on expenses. How do you do that? So one way of doing that is creating sets. जल्दी से sets बनाते हैं हम दो. The first set that I'm going to make is uh, high revenue set, and the second set that I want to create is the low expenses set. तो देखते हैं कैसे बनता है ये. और आईडी पे जाऊंगा मैं, यहाँ पे जाके कहूंगा कि मैं क्रिएट अ सेट, and I'm going to select everything here. Please do remember to do that, because एक चीज है जो आगे मैं आज जाके बताऊंगा जो इसके बगैर नहीं होगी. I'm going to call it top revenue generating company set, and uh, let's just top करना जरूरी नहीं है अब यहाँ पे. What we can do is apply a condition. So because I want to tell you how conditions work, and by field, and of course ये अब गौर से आपने देखना है, because there's a lot of other data. हम 2015 का डेटा देख लें. 2015 के रेवेन्यू का जो सम है ना, that we want to be greater than or equal to some amount. And if I load here, I'll get a good idea. The minimum value मेरी 286 है, and the maximum 5 million के करीब है. That's what I have here. Oh sorry, 2015 करना है. देखिए ये गलती हो सकती है. I want the revenue for 2015. I have to just load it again. All right. So the minimum is 1.5 and the maximum is 16.8. So I can infer कि it's 8 million के करीब करीब कोई मिड पॉइंट होगा इसका. So if what I'm saying is कि अगर greater than equal to 8 million है, तो इसका मतलब है कि कंपनी जो है वो अच्छा खासा रेवेन्यू जनरेट कर रही है. I want to say okay, and there you go, ये बन गया data set. And let's just create another set. I'm going to again go to ID. I'm going to create a set. And again, I'm going to select all the values. Condition पे जाऊंगा. By field 2015 का जो expensive है, because low expenses देखना है ना मैंने, तो उसको मैं लोड करके देखता हूँ. This is the figure that I get between 1 and around 10.8. तो मैं अगर कहूँ कि 5.5 को मिड पॉइंट रख लिया, 6 को भी रख सकते हैं वैसे. Let's just take 6 of them. 6 million. The midpoint of them. Uh, that the expenses should be less than equal to 6 million. अगर इससे कम है तो we are good. And I'm going to give it a name. Low expenses data set. Oh, sorry. Low expenses generating company set. And I'm going to say okay. And I just hope that I've got the figure right, because ये अंदाजे से कर रहा हूँ मैं. और now I've got these two sets. I've selected them, and I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it sets, and I'm going to throw this inside this. So there you go. अब ये है कि अगर मैं ट्राई करके देखते हैं, टॉप रेवेन्यू पे ट्राई करके देखते हैं. इफ आई ब्रिंग दिस इन द कलर्स कार्ड, see what happens. See what happens. It's just picking up uh, the companies which are high on revenue. The 8 से ऊपर हमने कहा कि अच्छा रेवेन्यू है. It's just picking those up, which is great. अगर मैं इसको निकाल दूं यहाँ से और ये दूसरा अपना टेस्ट करने के लिए लो एक्सपेंसेस वाला लेकर आऊँ कर्नल के अंदर, सी व्हाट हैपेंस. सी, इट्स पिकिंग अप कंपनीज which are low on expenses. But I think थोड़ा सा अगर हम मजीद इसको बेहतर बना सकते हैं. 6 million आई थिंक हमने किया है. I think 5.5 would have been better. Uh, Maybe 5.5 कर लेना चाहिए हमें. So I can always go back. So edit data, and I can make it 5.5 million. Now I know that, इसमें मैं M डाल रहा हूँ. But that is where Tableau is so accommodating, because most of us sort of have a tendency of making a mistake and zeros वगैरह लगाने में mistakes होती है. सिर्फ अगर million m भी लगा देंगे तो it will understand. Just now bring this into color, and yeah, I think it's making a little more sense. Little more sense. It's almost, we're almost there with this one. So I'm going to get rid of this. And now I want to join these two. And this is where uh, things will get interesting. तो मैं यहाँ पे लो एक्सप्रेशन जनरेटिंग के सेट को क्लिक करूंगा. I'm going to say that I want to uh, इधर चला गया, create combined sets. Let me just run this in. There you go. This is the option that we want. Create combined set. I'm going to call this high revenue, low expenses quadrant. And what do you want here? We want to have a set of low expenses and top revenue. Now, since मैं ये चाह रहा हूँ कि दोनों का इंटरसेक्टिंग कंपनीज आ जाए, ऑल मेंबर्स मुझे नहीं चाहिए, मुझे इंटरसेक्टिंग चाहिए. Therefore, I'm going to choose this particular option. It's very descriptive when you look at these pictures. You get to know exactly कि क्या चीज जो है ना वो ये कह रहा है. In this case, of course, we want companies which lie on both sides of things, which are low expense as well as high revenue according to our criteria. I'm going to say okay, and we have succeeded in creating another uh, set. Now I'm going to push this set right inside the sets uh, folder, and let's try to use this. Now I'm going to put this into, I can put this in colors just to see what's happening. There you go. It looks brilliant. तो ये वो quadrant है जो actually हमें required था. Now there's only a couple of tweaks that we need to do to make this a little more presentable. And one of the tweak is that I want this to be flipped. Okay, ये अच्छा नहीं लग रहा. ये high quadrant हमेशा ऊपर होता है. So how do you do that? Axis पे all you have to do is right click और edit axis पे जाओगे आप. और remember this because it's one of those tips that come in handy. और अगर आप और करें तो यहाँ पर बस एक ऑप्शन है स्केल की which says reversed. So I'm going to click this and guess what has happened. Things are absolutely at their right place. One more thing that you can do is go to format, font, and you can increase the font, make it bold, make it a little larger if you want. 12, I think is too much. Maybe 11 will suffice. There you go. ये आपकी शीट हाई क्वाड्रेंट की बन गई है. नाउ यू कैन यहाँ पे आप क्वाड्रेंट लिख सकते हैं, हाई quadrant, and of course you can uh, embellish this as well. There you go. अब इसको थोड़ा सा सेंटर भी कर लेते हैं. तो ये आपके पास हाई क्वाड्रेंट लिस्ट आ गई है. There's a lot more that you can do with this with. For instance, some people like to give shapes. You know, they like to use different shapes. If you want to do that, you can do that. And of course, while playing with the shapes, what you can do is also maneuver the size. You want to increase the size, that's perfectly okay. तो ये भी आप कर सकते हैं. और इनफैक्ट इंटायरली आप सर्कल्स के अंदर भी इसको तब्दील कर सकते हैं. If you want to do that, you would probably also like to play with the colors a little bit. Opacities भी कम कर सकते हो आप. चाहो तो इसको कोई बॉर्डर भी दे सकते हो. So this, it looks uh, much more like a decent final presentation, but not quite, because एक चीज का आप जरूर ख्याल रखेंगे, शेडिंग बॉर्डर्स में जाके you need to decide whether you want these or not. So yeah, if you want to, you can get rid of everything which is unnecessary, सब्सक्राइब कर सकते हैं चीजों को, because I don't like these row dividers and all that. I want everything to be, I like everything to be absolutely clean. तो आप ये काम भी कर सकते हैं. I don't want any grid lines. uh, I don't want any other lines whatsoever. So you can further clean it. I think we've already discussed this before. There's no real need to get into the detail of this, but let's just see how it looks. Uh, अगर आप इसको थोड़ा सा बड़ा करके देखें. One mistake that I have noticed is that I've misspelled high, right? Maybe I don't want to show this as well, just to save a bit of space. There you go. तो ये हमारा वो कंपनीज हैं जो which are very high in terms of uh, revenue and low in terms of expenses. इस तरह आप यूज कर सकते हैं सेट्स को, और सेट्स को कंबाइन कर सकते हैं टू गेट a really really sophisticated result.